There is a brand new AAA mobile first-person shooter game by Tencent that is finally out in a beta test that you've probably never heard of before. This game has amazing high-quality graphics, and it's arguably as good-looking as games like Arena Breakout and Delta Force. We're going to start by taking a look at the very first trailer that you might have actually seen before. You might just have completely forgotten about this game because it's been a while since we first saw this trailer. However, now, later on in this video, I'm going to show you all the first gameplay that has been posted from people that got access to the beta version of this game. This game looks insane. I mean, just looking at that trailer, dude, you really can't get better than this for a mobile game, at least right now in 2025. Hey, if you're watching this in 2028, 2030, yeah, there's probably games that look better than this. But, dude, this game is pretty much peak mobile gaming, and it's freaking awesome. As you can see, a lot of people liken this game a bit to a mobile version of Titanfall, though there's a lot of differences between this game and Titanfall. So I know a lot of people are going to like to call this game, oh, Titanfall Mobile, but when you actually start to see the gameplay later on in this video, you're going to realize they're just completely different games. This game does have mechs like Titanfall, but like that's basically the only similarity. There's just so much content, so many different game modes in this game. It is ridiculous. What you're seeing here is a variety of the different game modes. There's everything from a tower defense type of game mode. There is a zombies game mode. There is a whole campaign mission storyline. You have mech battles, and then there's like 4 or 5 other game modes built into one. So, you know, you have games like Arena Breakout and Delta Force that might have a couple of different game modes. This game has like 8 different game modes built into one, and you can see from the movement to the overall graphics to the special effects to the weapon skins, it is insane to think that this is a mobile game, dude. I love it. I freaking love it. So, you know, all right, you guys got the idea. You got the trailer. There's a newer trailer that I do want to show you all that shows a little bit more gameplay. Let's fast forward a little bit further. As you can see, you can control ships and do a whole lot more than just the standard first-person shooter type of thing. I don't know what that is, to be completely honest with you. This is more of that zombies game mode. There's the zombie dogs. You have different special powers, ridiculous bosses, and I mean the most ridiculous-looking weapons that I've seen pretty much in a mobile game. Like, you know, this is on par with Pixel Gun 3D, just with like realistic graphics type of weapons. It is crazy. I love how some of these things look, too. I mean, like, seriously. PC-level graphics for a mobile game. That is insane. Look at this. It just keeps going. It just keeps going. I think this is the, the several different, like, co-op, zombie type of game modes that they're showing in this trailer. And I mean, like, what even is going on here? I have no idea. Gigantic bosses that are, like, equivalent to the things you would see in Once Human. Except this is first person. So maybe a lot of people might like something like this a little bit more. I don't really know. There's your mech. And I guess you can take your mech to go up against... Yeah, you can literally go up against the bosses in your mech as well. So, like, it's a whole combination of different things. It is crazy. Finally, I just want to show you all one other little trailer before we take a look at the gameplay. These are some of the characters that I guess you're going to get to control in this game, and it has special effects. So, you know, you can obviously assume that stuff like this is a little bit dramatized, but, like, this is what it actually looks like when you start to play this game. Very cool looking shooting animations with some of these pistols. And, you know, this is made by Tencent, so you can expect this is going to be a very optimized game. It's going to be a very well-polished game. Tencent knows how to make good games. There's pretty much a baseline with, like, all Tencent games. And from my personal experience, every Tencent game that I've ever played, you know, at least in the more recent years, none of them are absolutely terrible. You know, you might not prefer certain ones, but none of them are terrible. So, like, you can look at a game like this, the trailers and other gameplay, and be pretty confident that this is going to be a pretty decent game overall. It might not be your absolute favorite game in the entire world, but it's going to be good. It's going to be really freaking good. Look at that. Look at that thing. What is that thing? That's a gigantic boss. It's like Once Human, except the Tencent version of it. That is insane. All right, so let's continue on here. I'm going to start to show you all some of the gameplay that other people have recorded. This is the tower defense game mode. And as you can see, it's only in China right now. It was very selective with how people got into this beta test. This is why I'm not like showing you all my own gameplay, because I didn't get selected for this. I would have loved to, but unfortunately not. What I would assume is they're probably going to have at least a couple more tests in China. They're going to probably be easier to get into, and then eventually it's going to go to a global audience. And yeah, so this game is called Counter War the Future. I don't even know if I told you all that earlier on in this video, but yes, it's called Counter War the Future. And the reason it's called that is because apparently there was a game called Counter War, which I don't know if that's a global game or not, but at least it was very popular in China like 12, 13 years ago. And then they decided to reboot that game and make a mobile version of it and call it Counter War the Future. As you can see with this tower defense mode, you can basically use your currency that you get from playing through the different waves and build different turrets and other things to take out the zombies and other monsters and robots and thingies that are going to come at you. So it's very cool. You know, you've played games like Bloons Tower Defense back in the day, right? Well, this is basically the first-person shooter version of that. And for people that wanted to be inside of the tower defense, something like this could be really cool. The only thing I haven't seen from gameplays, I believe, is the overall... Actually, no. I do believe I have seen some of the campaign, but what I do want to show you all first here is some of the mech gameplay. So what you're actually watching right now is a TDM match, and this is, I believe, potentially one of the only, like, team deathmatch types of modes. I think you basically have, like, the standard weapon versus weapon, and then people can turn into mechs to go up against one another. Obviously, you're going to want to turn into a mech when you can, but it looks like you might only have like a certain amount of time that you can be a mech, and then it like has a cooldown. So once you die, then you have to wait a while before your mech can respawn, or you might just jump out of your mech whenever it like runs out of the ability to be used. I don't really know. I don't know the intricacies of how this works, but later on, what this guy does is he ends up getting his own mech. If we fast forward a little bit further, as you can see, his opponents don't seem to be too difficult. Obviously, this is because this is a beta, and people don't really know how to play this game in a beta very well. Of course, when we start playing it, it's going to be a lot more difficult because everybody's going to know what they're doing. So don't look at this and be like, oh, it's easy, because it's probably going to be a lot more difficult. I like the character skins. I like you even have things like bows and other stuff like that. But I believe this is when he turns into a mech himself, and yeah, it's interesting because it kind of like turns you into a third-person view when you're controlling a mech, and it's almost like you're playing War Robots. You see how it's kind of like a combination of so many different mobile games and PC games blended into one. I never played the original Counter War. I have no idea what that game was like, but maybe that's what that game was like. It was like a big combination of many different games, and they just tried to like combine everything into one. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some type of like bomb defuse game mode in this. I wouldn't be surprised if you have a variety of different multiplayer things like that. But it seems like this game really does focus a lot on like co-op PvE gameplay as well, where like you're in a team of 4 people and you're trying to like defeat waves of zombies in some of these other game modes. You have stuff like this where you can play in PvP, multiplayer, stuff like that, but it seems like it might be a bit more focused on PvE from what I have seen so far. And then there's obviously the entire storyline, single player type element to this game, which I don't know, that might honestly be even bigger components than both other things that we just talked about. But that's the mech gameplay. I just wanted to show you all that real brief. You guys get the idea. Don't want to spend, 20 minutes just showing you all that. This is another game mode, and I have no idea what this is. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't know what this game mode is, but I saw it. It's completely different from the other ones, and it looked interesting. As you can see, there are more zombies. Or, I don't even know if they're zombies. It almost looks like they're like alien type things. I think they're zombies. And what this guy is doing is he's in a team of 4, and they're like progressing through different areas. So it's not like your standard zombies mode where like you're kind of in a stationary area. It seems like you're moving throughout the map and then defeating all of the waves of zombies in different areas of the map. It's very interesting. And it looks like this guy's already kind of mastered the movement. what you want to do is like jump up and then use your area damage like blasting weapon like that. That's, I guess, what you got to do when you're going up against these things. But look at like the weapon. It has a freaking lightning bolt going around it. Who knows? Who knows what this is? I don't know. There's a random thing on the wall. It's crazy. It's absolute chaos. And for the people that like zombie games, well, you know, there's no longer a drought of zombie games. You actually have a full-on AAA Tencent game that has zombies. That's basically going to fulfill everything that you could possibly want in a game that would have zombies. So, as you can see, what they're doing is, yes, continuing on, progressing through the waves, going into different areas of the map. Again, no idea what this game mode is called exactly, but it looks like it's basically like a zombie invasion, mission-based zombies game mode type thing. There's a countdown at the top with 50 seconds remaining. Not exactly sure what that is. So if we fast forward till that timer runs out eventually, 30 seconds more, what happens? I don't know if that's a timer for like when you die, when the map ends, when... Who knows? Who really knows? Or maybe that's like the end of the wave. You never really know. Honestly, with these games, it's always confusing, to be completely honest with you. But that's what that looks like. That's that zombies type of game mode. Very cool. And then we can continue on with another little thingy that I just wanted to show you all. This is another one of the ridiculous bosses. I don't know if this is the same game mode that we just saw a second ago, but clearly this must be like way far into the missions where like you've turned into a very, very, you know, high level player. And then you get to go up against a whole freaking dragon. And look at the movement of the dragon. Like, I'm just comparing this to mobile games from just a few years ago, and they didn't have so much like technical movement in the monsters like that. It looks so fluid and really well done. If you compare that with other games, like they could make it so basic and the dragon just kind of flies around, maybe bites you or shoots out fire, and that's it. But this thing does so many different attacks. And the movement, it just looks so cool. Like this, you're going to be doing this on your phone. On a little phone. And that's insane. I don't know if this game is also going to be available for PC. I wouldn't be surprised, but it's insane. It's absolutely insane. Look, it's even freezing you. There's like icicle crystal type things that are appearing. I have no idea what any of that is, but it's cool nonetheless. And then there is this other game mode, which it almost looks like it's more of an open world game mode. I don't know what this one is called either, but you're set in a much more open space in a desert. There's still zombies, I think, but there's also, it looks like AI NPC players, I'm pretty sure. And as you can see, it's now got like this whole open world element to it. You have zip lines. What are we now in Apex? I don't know. Is this an extraction mode? I honestly have no idea. But like, you see what I mean? This game has so many different game modes. Why would you even need to play other mobile games? Like, if this truly is a great game in terms of like the performance, the stability, all the content, it's not paid to win, all that type of stuff. Like, if they adapt all of these different game modes super well, then why would you need to download like 6 different games if this game can do all of those games better in one? I doubt that's what would end up happening. There's probably going to be one game mode that people are going to prefer in this one, but like still, it's really interesting. It's really interesting. And then this guy is now spawning in random things. What is that? Some mortar strike type thing? Dude, is this a different version of the tower defense? I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. This is ridiculous. I can't wait to play it myself, because obviously once you start playing it yourself, you're going to start to understand how these things work. But yeah, it looks like it's basically like an open world version of that thing. Or maybe it's not. Maybe this is truly open world, and you have to travel to different locations where the monsters are. Like, where that guy just went to that base area, and then everything appeared. And then you needed to put down your mortar strike. And then where he's now traveling right now is like a non-danger area, and then he needs to travel to a different area to get more stuff. It's very interesting. It's very, very interesting. So, there you go. There's that game mode. And then finally, this is the thing that everybody was waiting for. This is the very beginning. What you're going to see when you first start playing the game, everything from your whole, like, intro scenes. Let's go see here. And then, yeah, there you go. This is it. I don't know if this is your tutorial or if this is actually like the very beginning of your single player campaign. If it is, then yes, you already get to play single player campaign pretty much right from the very beginning. I'm not sure what he's doing right here, but it doesn't really seem like it's a tutorial because, to be completely honest with you, there's not like that much directing you to go a certain area. He's kind of like freely going around, and I mean, it could be a tutorial. You guys can let me know what you think, but let's see. We fast forward a little bit further. There's some ridiculous looking monster that's gonna... Oh my god. Oh my god. What? What in the world? This is insane. This is absolutely insane. No, this is not the tutorial. This is not the tutorial. That is a crazy boss battle. That is horrifying. Like, luckily you're playing this thing on a little phone screen, because if I had my gigantic computer monitor and I saw that thingy, that would definitely be keeping me up at night. So now you turn into a mech, and then I guess when you're a mech, you can be much more powerful against that thingy right there. It even shows like little cutscenes, like you can see right here. Is this supposedly set in 2042? I don't know. There you go. They call it Nizhan Future? Nizhan Future? But it's technically translated to Counter War the Future. So I'm not really sure which one you would like to call it. But I'm going to call it Counter War the Future, at least for right now. Here's kind of like what your home screen looks like. All of your different game modes. Oh, look at that. And there you go. You can see there's your PvE and your PvP game modes. So, look, right from the very beginning, even in a beta version, you have separation between your PvE game modes. There's at least 4. And then there are at least 2 right here in the PvP, but it looks like at the bottom right, I'm not sure what that says, but maybe there's other ones that are coming soon to PvP, or maybe that this person's just not a high enough level yet to unlock every different PvP game mode. But now he's playing in the PvE game mode, which is the same one that we saw earlier. And it looks like he's actually just going through showing the different ones. So that's kind of cool. We get to see the different game modes, all the different PvE game modes. So they're all completely different, and that's, I guess, pretty cool. Look at this area right here. It's all green. That looks cool. That looks really cool. I don't know, dude. It's crazy. And then there's this one. Yeah, okay, then he plays in the mech battle. So, I mean, you guys get the idea. These are all the ones that we already saw earlier on in the video. I guess this guy just basically kind of shows what you can play within your first 40 minutes or so of starting Counter War the Future. It looks great. I like the overall, like, the UI, stuff like that. Looks great. So many different items. It looks like you can customize your weapons. Looks like your character can have, like, wearable bracelets that give you special abilities. You don't just have, like, a helmet and a chest plate. You would have actually, like, you know, a bracelet. So that's interesting. And there's so much more. It looks really cool. So I don't really know. I'm going to go back to that very first trailer just because that looks really cool in my personal opinion. As we kind of wrap everything up here. I don't know what you guys think, but I am very, very excited for this game. I'm really kind of mad I didn't get access to this very first test, because if I could actually play it myself, that would have been freaking awesome. But at least we have lots of gameplay out there on Chinese social media that just shows us all of the cool different game modes that people have already been playing in. And I don't even think that's all of the content that this game has, because we're seeing things in this trailer right here that I did not see in the gameplay. So obviously, they've probably not added everything yet, and it's only a matter of time before this game even has more content, and it might just have, like, the most content out of any mobile game by Tencent or NetEase. I don't really know. It's crazy. So Let me know what you guys think about Counter War: The Future down below in the comments. Will you be playing this game or not? Look at that. There you go. There you go. Oh, I thought there was gonna show some more of the gameplay. So let's go over to the other one. Will you be playing this game or not? I would love to know. If you guys could let me know down below in the comments. And yeah, if there's anything that you are most excited for from what you've seen in this video. Are you most excited for the zombie like co-op mode? Are you most excited for the mech battles? Are you most excited for the tower defense or the single player campaign? There's so much stuff. So just let me know down below in the comments what you're most excited for. But yeah, that's basically it. Thank you all so much for watching, guys. And I will see you all in the next episode.